ball, right? So usually
It's
you're not
true.
the one that runs it in when that happens.
You know what? That was super relevant to our league, though. That touchdown is what ended Jake's night.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I don't think the defensive
It
touchdowns count against
it
you.
wasn't about the points. Jake needed literally one sack.
Oh
He
yeah.
was two he needed 2 points and then a sack happened and then that was on third down, so it was a punt. Jake needed another sack in that game to win, and that strip six changed
There was a few things that
changed
went
the
into
entire
it.
game
That was
script.
one of them.
And
Mhm.
that ended it.
That
Yeah,
defensive
it did.
touchdown, the Nick Chubb injury, Deshaun Watson being a bag of butthole, all contributed to that. But yeah,
Yeah.
I came down to .02 with a few minutes left in that game.
So they had 4 turnovers, right? I mean, there's only 2 of those that you can really realistically pin on him. I mean, a blindside sack, almost every quarterback in the league is going to put that ball on the ground. You know what I mean? In those circumstances.
I think what Jake is also referring to is the butthole he is about ripping other people's face masks off.
Yeah, playing like a dirtbag too.
How many unsportsmanlike conducts do you hear get called on quarterbacks? He had 2 in the second half of that game.
From the man with legal trouble for breaking people's boundaries and being physically abusive.
Yeah. It's not helpful to his case. We'll say that at the least.
No,
But
it's easy to root against that man.
Yeah, and the other thing that was kind of wild about it is they had that game.
Which is too bad because he's a freak athlete.
He is, and I mean, he's still just as good as he was in Houston. He moved inaccurate.
He moved in a way that I was like that I actually do think he is as athletic as he was in Houston. Like there's a few pockets that were collapsing around him, like, oh, this play is over. And it just wasn't over because Deshaun Watson was the one having it. And it's loose and it's strange looking, but that guy is different.
Well, you got to remember too, in Houston, Jake, the reason why he was putting up so many stats is because they were losing every game. You know what I mean? So like they had a couple good years where they were like, you know, toying with the idea of maybe they'll get into the playoffs, but they never did anything spectacular. You know what I mean? Like, so they're constantly losing, and you got DeAndre Hopkins. You run around forever. Who's going to guard DeAndre Hopkins for 10 seconds? Like, there's not a person in the league that can guard it for that back then.
I agree with all that. I don't think he's the same quarterback he was. I think he's got little flashes in the pan. I saw a couple of those plays you're talking about where it looks like the play's over, and then he breaks out of it and then overthrows a receiver 15 yards down the field. So
he did do that. He did do that.
He did that several times, but he also put some very nice passes on Amari Cooper on the sideline. There was one he put right in the basket.
He did.
So
I've seen Cooper play enough times to think that that's more of him than it was Watson.
Amari Cooper is very, very good.
He is, but the thing is,
very good. Like, but there was one pass, but it was even the announcers were just like, man, that's a throw. Like,
he dropped it right in the bucket, dude.
That one, that third and 9 inside their own 5. Yeah,
put it right in the window.
Oh yeah, under pressure, off his back foot.
And he can still throw too. I mean, he's still got a cannon. You know what I mean? You see the velocity of those passes when they're coming out of his hand. And so it's just, I think what you're dealing with is, you know, he still needs to get more comfortable in that offense. They're still working out the wrinkles. I mean, it's going to be better for him probably with Nick Chubb out because they can't run the ball as much. You know what I mean? They just can't. They don't have you don't have a guy that can do what Chubb can do, you know. And it's fun to see Cody just wallowing in the misery. And you know, I mean, this is what we live for. You know, it would have been nice to beat him by like half a point and have Chubb go out. That would have been the best, you know. Because for me, the only solace is Cody's misery. Because you know, I had Chubb in every single DraftKings lineup, 20 for 20. He was in every single one. He was the only play.
20 for 20?
He was the only lock. It's Nick Chubb, man. It's and you could play everybody. So like I was playing, I had Deshaun Watson, I had Nick Chubb, I had the Browns defense. I had everybody, man. I had Olave in there, I had Mike Thomas in there. I had them all because you could. And then I had Jamal Williams too. So that's also great because Jamal Williams also left the game.
Yeah.
You know, so I just got boned and I ended up making like $5 back.
It was a Monday to forget.
Sorry, my dog is really pissing me off. So anyhow,
same.
All I'm trying to say is she's just getting into everything, and she's driving me nuts. So anyway, folks. With that said, here we are, week 2. I'm just gonna pick up some stuff. Don't mind me. Talk to you a little bit while I'm doing that. So yeah, we're in week 2.
It's the echo for me.
There's a lot of storylines to be had here. We'll get into those, break down the matchups, do a little predictions at the end. Try to keep it moving a little bit this time. I mean, we did pretty good last week, but ran a little bit longer.
We did not. We did not do very good last week.
We did.
We're gonna get better. We're gonna get better as the year goes on. So as we've already been talking about our matchup, since mine's that's how it works on there. So let's talk about ours first. And Cody, what do you have to say for yourself, sir?
Suck it. I beat you, and now you're in the swamp. You're a loser.
Yeah, I guess.
So that's what.
That.
Yeah.
What about your team, man? What do you got? You got a lot of injuries to deal with this week, sir.
Man, it hits in a way that you just don't expect. Like every single time you watch your child fall off their bike, it's funny. But like that time they don't get up, you're like, oh shit, and that's where we're at now. It's oh shit, and it hurts. It hurts a lot.
You're losing a running back every week.
You take for sure things in the first round, and there ain't nothing for sure like Nick Chubb, and it's gone. It's over. Forever. So now,
and
I'm staring down
waiver wire pickup because Mr. Ford's already on a roster.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you know the fucking running backs that I looked up yesterday. I'm like they're all rostered in our league, every one of them. Like
there's a few others though.
There's not when you need them. Not when you need them to start. You know what I mean? And the reason I might need him to start is because I'm looking at Aaron Jones's fucking hamstring all day.
Yeah,
like
he's probably out again. Looks like.
Welcome to the no RB2 club, bud.
Yeah, it was having two sure things, man. Like rounds 1 and 3.
I wish we could pull up a clip from last week's podcast about every team we brought up, and Cody said something to the effect of, "Oh, another team with no running back depth. Well, welcome to the fucking club."
Yeah. The thing
now you're probably in the worst position.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing that I felt the absolute strongest in was the talent / depth of my running back position. And that's completely opposite now.
You offered me Nick Chubb last week. Remember for Jonathan Taylor, I think, or no, Eckler was
for Eckler. Yeah, it's for Eckler.
Man, what a godsend that would have been if you would have gotten.
Oh, no, you imagine? You never would have seen me again.
That would have been brutal.
Might never see me again. I might have got murdered.
But the thing I mentioned is that you might have Anthony Richardson out. He's in the concussion protocol. Obviously,
I'm set at that position for a backup. That's fine.
Yeah, but then you're also dealing with Amon-Ra with an ankle, actually a turf toe, which is worse for a wide receiver because those can linger forever, a la Devontae Adams. We know that story well. And then you're also looking, like we said, Aaron Jones' hamstring. So, I mean, it's looking like you're going to be rolling out there with some what do we got? You're going to roll out there with Dak, which Dak has looked pretty good this year so far. You'll be throwing – it's easy to look good when your defense is winning every game for you.
Yeah, and they're playing Arizona next week, so what do you think that's going to look like?
It's not going to be great for Dak. He's not going to put up a lot of points probably. The defense is going to smash.
It's going to be great for the defense that I got.
Yeah, that's true. But you'll probably be rolling with Samaje and Miles Sanders, which is not a star-studded lineup. But
Samaje can't start unless something happens to Javonte. So like I have to get another running back.
Yeah, I mean the thing that is
which means Amon-Ra is for sale, and so is Keenan Allen, and so is Paku. If anyone's feeling that,
Paku.
Say his name right, sir. He's on your team, and he got all that goodness.
This is a son of a bitch. This is a bit we're doing.
Yeah. Paco
Nacho.
Paco Nachoa.
Paco Nachos with some jalapenos.
He's just averaging 11 targets a game. So who wants that? I know I do.
He is for 2 more weeks until Cup comes back, and he goes back to being irrelevant.
Well, who wants for 2 more weeks to give you an RB2, baby?
Yeah, nobody wants anybody like that's breaking records and commanding a 40% target share. Nobody wants that in our league.
No one wants it.
I mean, clearly I didn't because I had to have Gus Edwards so bad that I gave up one of the best waiver wire options of the year. That's in the fucking teeth, dude.
I did, dude. And I don't mean to make you sick about it, but like I did that shit last minute. It was like 1 a.m. and I was like, I'll wait to see if anyone has him on a waiver. But then I thought, if someone has him as like their 6th waiver, it's gonna make me sick. And I talked to Todd on Sunday, who had him as like his 4th waiver wire pickup. I'm like, I'm glad I did.
Well, you have to, man, when you see a rookie come out and command that amount of targets. But, for my roster, I needed Gus Edwards. And so that's where I went. And, of course, I don't play him. And if I had played him, I would have won. So that's even more fun.
I had Kadarius Toney in that fucking flex spot until 20 minutes before that game.
That would have been brutal.
You weren't really going to stick through with that, were you?
This man loves Kadarius Toney for some reason. I don't understand.
But after week 1, oh man, there's no way.
I know that it was really bad, but we all know that he's much more talented than what he showed. So
no, we don't know that. We know that you think that, and we think that you're the only one that thinks that.
You guys just didn't watch the playoffs last season?
I mean, I watched it, man, but he's a gadget player, and he
gadget player that scores a lot of touchdowns.
He hasn't scored one yet this year.
He drops a lot of balls. If you gotta claim what you saw with your eyes, I gotta claim what I saw with mine.
Missed his offseason because of an injury, and he's injury prone. So, like, if I've got the depth at wide receiver, I'd like to keep him on there. Of course, it's the only thing I've got depth in. So let's hang on, baby.
Well,
that means practice time. Can we stop shitting on my team? I won. I'm 2-0. Fuck all of you guys. There are 2 teams in this league.
Enjoy being on top for one more week because you're about to nose down.
I'm enjoying it, and I'm the only one of these people on this fucking podcast right now that doesn't know what the taste of loss is like. Y'all can suck my dick.
Yeah,
that starts with you, Patrick.
World's smallest
Patrick.
So
fuck you.
Whatever. Moving on
like?
to my.
What's it like in the waist deep fucking waters?
He's deflecting because he's sad, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right. How about we move on to my star-studded lineup that was let down by my 2 best players? If I'm putting up 115 with A.J. Brown and Stephon Diggs laying duds, then I'm happy with that. We'll say that. We'll say it once. We'll say it again. It's nice to see.
Only somebody that perennially comes in 4th place is happy when their star players shit the bed.
Yeah. You know what? We're going to be fine.
Hey, he loves 500. That does not bother Patrick at all. He is comfy.
Pretty sure I went on like a 7-game winning streak in the last year, so I'm 500. But anyway, so Lamar Jackson gets back in the points. Looks like I froze for a second, perhaps. Lamar Jackson gets back in the points. We like seeing that. Still looking a little bit rough over there, but he ran the ball a lot, 10 times, 54 yards. That's what we want out of Lamar. Had a little bit of a stinger at the end of the game. Should be fine. All the reports I'm seeing. So we like that. David Montgomery's a little bit of a concern. Obviously, though, avoided a major injury, which I'm happy about. It's a bone contusion, a la kind of similar to what Travis Kelce had going on with his knee. So we're expecting maybe him to miss a week, probably back the week after, which is great considering what's happened to other certain running backs that shall go unnamed. So Javonte Williams, that's a slight dig. Throw it in there.
He deserves some digs after losing to 1/4 of Nick Chubb. So
okay.
Yeah, get fucked.
Whatever.
I mean, you did. So
yeah, all right.
Yeah, but it's because his star players didn't do well. It's a great thing.
I forgot. Yeah.
That's right. When you get, anyway. So Javonte Williams, the Denver offense is not one you want to be a part of. Russell Wilson, crazily, was like the quarterback 2 on the week because of a 50-yard bomb Hail Mary that just happened to fall into his wide receiver's hands.
Yeah.
And then they still fucked up on the 2-point conversion, which was hilarious.
I'm glad they're 0-2.
They suck.
They do.
Javonte,
happy about it.
Javonte doesn't look bad, but he's just not getting enough.
He doesn't look good.
Doesn't look good.
He's in a bad offense, man, and that's it's never good for a running back. So anyhow,
because he's part of it.
He was also bad in Detroit, unless you were inside the 5-yard line.
Those are different Williams.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah. So it's okay.
Get out.
I get those two mixed up all the time.
You know what? Why don't you give me that trophy? You don't deserve it anymore.
You don't.
Yeah, come get it. Come get it.
I'll fly right out there.
Unbelievable.
Get another G.
Unbelievable.
Come get it.
So anyway, Stephon Diggs
Trash.
got volume, but it was Gabe Davis week. Double touchdown for Gabe Davis. Stephon Diggs didn't get in the end zone. If he had, it would have been looking much better. His week wasn't too terrible. He had decent volume, and he had 10 or 11 targets. A.J. Brown was really the dud. I mean, it just went all Devonta Smith's way. There was one very close play where he was clearly interfered with that would have been a huge play for him, 12-point play. That he
only 6 targets. That's kind of a sign for concern, right?
I'm not really worried. It's A.J. Brown. It's week 2. It's the same reason why you shouldn't be worried about Jamar Chase.
The unbelievable optimism to every problem that has cost you to lose this game and the absolute destruction, like nuking that you've just done to mine that beat yours is unbelievable.
I know it's fantastic to just shit on your team even in victory and then still love mine. It's great. So, Mark Andrews gets in the end zone. He's only going to get more involved. We're very happy to see him back on the field. One of the higher scoring tight ends of the week. Jordan Addison continues to make big plays down the field. He had a lot of targets, only 3 catches, but he made that big old play that saved the week for him. Tampa Bay
didn't save the week for you though.
Yeah, well, you know what? We're going to keep it moving past all the slides. Let it roll off for back.
Talk to me about your 5th round running back, who I think was your first running back off the board, who doesn't exist.
Well, we didn't play him because we knew who was playing the Eagles, because we're smart, folks. And you don't play running backs against the Eagles because they have one of the best run Ds in the league. Now, next week, he gets to play the Los Angeles Chargers, who are terrible against the run, and we going to be starting them. So, you just play him on the matchups. That's what you do. There's nobody really threatening to take his job, which you like that. So, I mentioned some things about Ty Chandler, but he's not really getting on the field either. So, it was just a week where you can't run the ball on that team. There's some teams like that in the league. So you don't play him. Yeah. Tampa Bay defense was nice, getting the gift from Justin Fields, just lobbing. He pulled who was that quarterback the one year that was in the end zone and just had that one brutal, let's get it out of my hands. And it went right to the line.
Oh, I remember you're talking
Phillip Rivers.
about.
It was Phillip Rivers did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, during his decline phase. Yeah, it was fantastic.
Well, Cody, was it you that sent the video that the Bears ran the same play from the same formation on the first 3 plays of the game, and that ended in the pick 6? It's so bad. They have
it's like playing
no
Madden,
idea what they're doing in Chicago.
They have no idea what they're doing in Chicago.
They don't. It's garbage.
It's so bad.
It's so bad. Like, to somebody that doesn't know football, say that, you might just think, oh, they really suck. They're bagging on them. As a football fan, I don't know how these people are in charge of an organization.
That's disgusting.
They convinced someone that they could do that, and then this is what they've produced.
And yet Eric Bieniemy is winning games.
How do I get that interview? You know what I'm saying? Like, put me across the table with whoever made that decision. I can lie at least as good as them.
And yet Eric Bieniemy and Kellen Moore, okay? Kellen Moore hasn't won a game yet, but Eric Bieniemy has won 2 games with the freaking Commanders, and he's not a head coach. Like, come on, man. That guy should be in charge of Chicago. Like, get the man a job. He should be coming in next year without a doubt. You know?
That sounds like a really good hire for them. That really would be.
He should get that job because he has weapons there.
It sucks that they would have to start over at quarterback.
I don't think they're going to have to start over, man. I think you just
I do. It's taking too long. He's played too much bad football. He's over.
No, I don't think so. I think he's too talented for that. But they got serious problems. Should we move to the next matchup?
Yeah.
Let's do Todd and Allen because, again, the storyline here is, what does Todd have to do to get in the winning column?
Because Todd can't
win. he also shares in your pain with Nick Chubb, Cody, because I traded Nick Chubb to him in the offseason of our Dynasty League.
I know.
And he started him and got I crushed him in that league. I beat him by 60 points. It was great.
Well, and then Todd's feeling the running back woes this week because he's going to miss Saquon Barkley for 3 weeks now.
Yep. Potentially. They haven't ruled him out yet, but that's crazy.
They're not?
He's not playing Thursday. Dable keeps saying they're not going to rule him out until the end of tomorrow.
Interesting.
Which would be wild if he played with a high ankle sprain on the same ankle that he's had problems with. But I think it would be almost negligent to do that and lose him for the year.
He's on a single year contract. Like Saquon's not going to do that, right?
You would hope not.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, and with it being a Thursday night game too, they'll probably give him the night off because you get the extra 10 days to rest after that. So I miss him for one.
People should look at Matt Breida. Matt Breida is probably going to be the guy. And I don't know who they're playing on Thursday. I don't remember right now.
I'm looking at him.
But it's Matt Breida is the guy you want over there. So if we're going down this lineup, Kirk Cousins is a solid quarterback to have this year, clearly, because they're going to throw the ball 40 times a game no matter what. And even though he hasn't looked great, hasn't looked that good, he's throwing the ball, and he's got a great wide receiving core. He's got one of the best tight ends in the league, and he's putting up stats. They're not winning games, but he's putting up stats. That's what you want for your QB in fantasy, and he's doing it. Had one of the best weeks. He might have had the most points of any quarterback this week, outside of Daniel Jones. He did. So and then you're getting Tony Pollard goodness. Tony Pollard is so good. Just even against a good run defense, that guy is explosive. He can run between the tackles. He can run zone scheme. He can do it all. He catches the ball.
I feel like he is just as valuable as Austin Eckler right now.
Absolutely, without a doubt. He's being used in a very similar role. He might not be catching the ball as much because why would they throw it? They're crushing everybody. There's no reason for them to be doing that. Yep. He's kind of being hamstrung by the fact that their defense is murdering everybody. You know what I mean?
Even in this game, though, he's got 7 receptions. You know what I'm saying? So
you're not wrong.
Yeah, they don't mind the long handoff to Tony Pollard.
Yep.
And that's with them actually utilizing Deuce Vaughn and the other guy, I can't remember his name. They're
Rico
giving
Dowdle.
some snaps to some other people too.
Yeah, Rico Dowdle.
But Tony gets all the money once.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Allen
so good.
Has got himself quite a squad here, honestly. He's got, we've said it many times. And then Jacoby making a boneheaded trade. I don't know what he's thinking there. Olave is so far away going to be better than Garrett Wilson the rest of the season.
I don't think that was a good move.
I don't hate the trade.
I get that, hey, we're taking some chances because it's time to do it. But if it's for me, if that trade involved 2 other players, so it seemed like he was getting value somewhere else and giving up something, then I understand it. But for just going 1 for 1, I don't know,
man. It's a little slanted because, before the whole preseason hype and the Hard Knocks hype about Aaron Rodgers saying Garrett Wilson is special, both of these guys were back in second round, almost the exact same spot. And then after that, Garrett Wilson jumped up, and everybody's like, "Fuck, I should have taken him in the first round."
Well, it's because when
Rodgers, exactly. So when Rodgers went out, Garrett Wilson became a 3rd round pick.
But that is irrelevant.
So he's losing value.
It's irrelevant to this argument because we all knew Aaron Rodgers was hurt before he made the trade.
Well, it's not irrelevant. Yeah. It's just me kind of giving a timeline for where it's at now. And it's to say the same thing as what you're saying. Olave is probably a little better of an option.
Because of the times that we're in. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. And he's got a much better quarterback. Derek Carr is leagues better than Zach Wilson. It ain't even close. And Zach.
That's Jake. Jake's a big Derek Carr fan.
I think that's why it sucks, but I think
he's coming around.
I want to like Derek Carr.
I want you to like Derek Carr.
I can't because he's not good. He's
played fine last night.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
the Saints are 2-0.
He's a
something
fine
you would know
quarterback.
nothing about.
He's a fine quarterback.
All you need if you're an uber talented wide receiver is somebody who can get you the ball, and Derek Carr can do that, and he's shown that. And Olave
Are we talking about a game manager though that can get the ball to people? Or are we talking about a good quarterback? Because those aren't the same thing.
We're talking about fantasy football, dog.
Yeah, and and what I'm saying is that is clear.
Who's got Derek Carr in the starting lineup for us?
We're talking about the relevance of Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave.
Yeah,
and because of Derek Carr and Zach Wilson, Chris Olave.
And it's not close to me. It's not even close. You what you did right there is you traded the 22nd overall wide receiver to me, because that's where I think Garrett Wilson is now. How far he has fallen. For the 10th, probably. That's a bad move. You didn't upgrade anything in your team. You took a downgrade. And Anna, you already have a bad team. That is not a good move. When I saw that, I was shocked. I was wildly shocked. I
sent him a better trade. And it wasn't that he denied it. It was when I clicked it, it said that no dice
was available.
No one was available, and I was like, oh, he already accepted another one, and that's what he took.
I mean, I feel like he would have been better off taking, Madison and Addison for me, or Williams and Addison for me. At least he gets another piece. You know what I mean?
Keenan Allen.
Yeah, but he didn't want a 2-for-1 though. I think that was a big bargaining chip for him.
Not a 2-for-1 in his favor. Like,
seems odd.
Yeah, that's weird. But anyway,
I mean, that's. I don't know that Addison Madison's is a better value either, but that's a tangent. We're getting off the rails a little bit, but
yeah, but it's just kind of wild to me because Allen's squad is going to be looking nice with Olave and DK in there and the running backs he's got. Like, he's got a good squad.
I mean,
his only real hole is that tight end.
How do you sit Nico Collins?
Because of a man named Tank Dell. Tank Dell ran more routes. Had more
7 receptions, 146 yards, and a touchdown for Nico Collins.
Yeah. Indianapolis, though, is quickly appearing to have one of the worst secondaries in the league.
Yeah.
So,
Nico Collins averaging 10 targets a game through 2 weeks, though. I got 9 and 11.
I mean, he's the one you want there. But keep your eyes on Tank Dell, man. Tank Dell looked good, too. But anyway, we're talking about Allen a lot. I think we kind of covered it. He seems like he's maybe got a little bit of an injury concern there with Travis Etienne. I'd like to hear more about that. But if we're talking about Todd, I mean, Jalen Hurts pushed his way to a massive point total with the 2 rushing touchdowns that he had. Has not, that offense is not clicking the way it was last year yet. I think, and they're still winning games though, so I think they're going to pick up steam. I would imagine they put it together. I mean, the thing it was in that game was Minnesota didn't have a prayer in hell of stopping the run. I mean, they got run all over. That offensive line won that game for them. And, you know what I mean? They dominated that game.
It seemed easy.
Yeah, it was the same play. It was, okay, off tackle left, off tackle right, off tackle left. That's what they did the whole game, man. It's like there was one drive where I think they ran it 9 straight times and then ended in a touchdown or a field goal.
Jeez.
It's like that's as brutal as it gets. That's just another team being like, no, we're better than you, so stop us. It's like somebody running I-form stretch in Madden over and over again because you don't know how to stop it. That's what it is,
Get as mad as you want, but if you can't stop it, why would we do anything else?
Exactly. And that's what they did because, they were putting the ball up and Jalen Hurts turned the ball over once. And then Sirianni was like, okay, let's see if you can stop this. You can't stop that. Can't stop this. All right, we're going to run the ball. And that's what they did. So you don't like Saquon going down. That game was ugly until they got in the second half. They were getting walloped by one of the worst teams.
Crushed.
They're shut out at halftime. All their points in the second half.
Crazy. Good news for Todd is that James Cook is looking like a 3-down back, and he looked nice. He did all that on volume. He even scored a touchdown. So
you see 18 points and no touchdowns. You feel real good about that.
Yeah, he's catching passes.
Those are Nick Chubb numbers.
Yeah, suck it, Cody. Anyhow,
they were Nick Chubb numbers.
They were.
Yeah, he's gone. Let him go.
Career's over.
Love something, let him go, dude.
Really sad for Nick Chubb. Not so sad for Butthole Wreckers.
Not at all. Devontae Adams.
Wrecking buttholes with a tear in our eye tonight.
Nice. Let's pick it up into hyperspeed here a little bit. So we got Devontae because we're moving slow right now. We got Devontae getting back into Devontae like numbers. He still looks good. I wonder if we're just starting to see the effect of Jimmy G. You know what I mean? Because he's not, again, he doesn't have the arm that Carr has. He's not able to make those same throws down the field with the same velocity that Devontae Adams needs to go up and win contested catches and put up the numbers he was putting up last year. So honestly, I don't think he has the upside that he did. And I don't think we're going to see a wide receiver 1 season out of Devontae Adams. I think it's going to very well be somebody else this year.
Really? You're saying that on the back
Ball's out of top 12, huh?
Saying that on the back of him putting up 17 against Buffalo?
Absolutely. I don't think Buffalo has the secondary that they used to have. I think they're old.
When does Von Miller come back?
Yeah, when he comes back, that team gets a lot different.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're looking. I thought I heard like maybe week 6, 7, midway through the season. But they're just getting older. I just don't think they have as much as they used to. They had a crazy dominant run defense performance against Josh. Josh Jacobs had negative yards in that game.
Ooh.
Tyler Lockett had a great game. It was nice to see some mojo in the Seattle offense after a pretty putrid week 1.
Mm-hmm.
But Todd gets ultimately completely boned by the Muth. I mean, all he needed was a couple of catches.
I'm surprised he started him again. I know they got that touchdown last week, but I think it was his only target.
It was.
And,
he had 4 targets, but his only catch.
Oh,
it was for a 3-yard touchdown. He ended with 6.8.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks in a row with a combined 2 catches for 5 yards.
Yeah, you got to go Dalton Kincaid, man. He's much more involved in the offense.
You've got to go somewhere else. I was really surprised that Freiermuth stayed in there. And then to see that that's all he needed going to that Monday, I was like, he ain't going to get it.
And I'm also surprised. I mean, from here on out, I bet he's playing Kyron in the flex spot because Kyron Williams looks to be the truth there. That LA offense actually looks pretty competent.
You got to do that.
Difference Matt Stafford makes.
Was Akers out with an injury, or he just not touched the ball?
He's getting traded. He's off the team, man. He's
dude. Cam Akers is not it, man. And I've been saying it forever, and I'm just so glad that I'm right about it.
So many people, including me, that were wrong about that. There was a lot of fans.
Everybody was all like, "This is Cam Akers." No, it's not. Get out.
Nah, man.
Well, there was a lot of signs at the end of last year that it should have been. There really were because he was the RB2 like the last 3, like the RB2 overall, the last 3-4 weeks of the season. He was dominating, and then to see him come in and lay the stink that he did in week 1, I think he had less than a 1.5 yard carry average.
It was like 22 carries for like 29 yards or something absurd like that.
Yeah, and then he only got that many carries because they were dominating Seattle, and they're like, "Hey, Kyron, you're killing it, but let's put this bum in here and let him do what he does." And he did nothing, and then he probably pouted about it. It didn't work hard at practice. And McVay was like, "Hey, man, I like you, but we got a team to run here, so you can kick rocks." And I think that's what happened. So luckily for Todd, he's got Kyron. He's got some pieces on his bench. He also gets hurt a little bit by Denver giving up 35 points to the fucking Commanders.
What are you doing starting Denver against Eric Bieniemy? What are you doing?
That's true.
Has the world not learned? The man knows offense. It doesn't matter where he's at.
It's true, and he doesn't even have that much talent in Washington. It's kind of nice.
He doesn't have an empty room of talent between 3 different wide receiver 2s and Brian.
Robinson's playing well, man.
I always called him Brian Johnson. I have no fucking idea why. Brian Johnson.
But anyway, let's keep it moving. Sucks for Todd. Good point total, but no cigar. I think he's got some things to hang his hat on. But that's
second highest point total of the week and still couldn't pull out a W.
Sucks, man. King Taylor got him.
I'd feel more sorry for him if he didn't put up the least amount of points last week.
At least his average is looking better, He's getting up there around 80. So anyway, let's move on to Jacoby and Austin. Austin losing another one. Not a lot of bright spots for Austin.
That's a phrase you need to get used to, everybody. Austin losing another one.
I mean, it's not looking great. Derrick Henry looked good. A lot of volume for Derrick Henry. You like to see that after he had some carries taken away by Tajay the week before. So King Henry doing King Henry things with a bad offensive line. That's why his yards per carry are low because they are bad up front. But he's good. And so he'll continue to get volume and he'll do work because that's what he does. Najee, not good. Jalen Warren is the better back in that backfield. And that is going to it's going to get closer and closer to a 50-50. It almost was exactly 50-50 this week.
It was weird watching them against Cleveland because Najee Harris, it's like watching Zeke Elliott lose it to Tony Pollard. I can already see it.
Yeah,
it's true. It took two people to bring Najee down every time, but he's so slow.
That those two people are always already there.
Slow.
He had one run that at least 10 other backs in the league would have housed, and he got caught from behind, And he had some good runs. He had some good runs in the second half. He had a couple 10-plus yard runs, 2 or 3 actually. But that was all his production on 3 runs. You know what I mean? And he's not involved in the passing game because Jalen Warren's better. So there's not a lot of upside there. They don't have a great offense. The defense won that game for them. And I think you're going to see more of that with Pittsburgh. Maybe you can play them against a real bad run defense and hope for the best, but that's about it, man.
Even then, you're hoping for a touchdown because he's got first game 6 carries, second game 10 carries. That's not starting running back numbers.
I mean, he's a flex play. He's a flex play at best right now. And honestly, when Roschon keeps coming on strong here, and he's going to eventually win that starting job for Chicago because he looks like the better back in Chicago. I don't know how you start Najee. I think you throw Brian Robinson and Derrick Henry up top, and you throw Roschon in the flex or one of your wide receivers, and you leave Najee on the bench.
It's
and
true.
Hopefully he has a big game and maybe try to trade him.
This is the second year in a row during the draft when his name was called. I was like, what are you doing? You're making a mistake.
3rd round pick. Hasn't put up 5 points in a single one of his first 2 games.
A little bit unlucky for Austin that Waddle was kind of in and out of the lineup because, that offense in Miami, good God, how do you stop them? They kept running fun. They kept running that high-low with the wheel concept over and over and over again. And it worked every time because one of those 3 routes is open every single time because one of the linebackers has got to cover one of them, and whoever he's on, Tua just has that play down to the letter. You know what I mean? Like they operate so well in that play. Every time they needed a first down, they went to that play, and it worked every time. They look good. New England didn't look bad on defense, considering. But
it was close until the end.
Yeah, it was. But I think you gotta chalk that up to Bill Belichick finding a way to keep his team in the game without a lot of talent on that side.
Second week in the woe they've done it.
Yep. Michael Pittman obviously had a lot of volume, but suffered from the fact that Richardson goes down. The offense wasn't as efficient. He might actually benefit a little bit if Gardner Minshew is the quarterback because I think he's going to be more accurate. But he had a good week 1 with Richardson, so I don't know what the argument there is. Christian Kirk did a lot, but he was on his bench. How are you going to call that? You're not going to play Christian Kirk after what he did in week 1.
Nope. I felt bad for that. Felt bad for that one.
Yeah. And so if we're switching to Jacoby's side, Jacoby's got a problem at quarterback because Chicago, like we said, is a pile of dog turds. And Justin Fields, he's not running the ball that much. And if it wasn't for a couple of touchdowns, it would have been another miserable performance. And one of them, he had to work real hard on. Yeah, he had like 3 yards to get in the end zone there, and he did it, luckily for Jacoby. But, I mean, dang, man, it ain't looking promising.
That's true.
And then, he's making boneheaded moves like getting rid of one of his best wide receivers for a worse one. So that ain't going to help Jacoby. Basically just gets supremely boosted by the fact that he has the best running back in the league that's going to be putting up 100 yards every single week with that offensive line out there.
So good. He's so incredibly good.
And he has found a way, and knock on wood for me, because apparently I am the boogeyman for running backs. He's found a way to consistently stay healthy finally, and so hopefully he continues to do that. There was a big emphasis last year before the season started that he had been working with, I believe it was Marshall Faulk in terms of his conditioning. And Marshall Faulk was like, this is what I did, man. And I was one of the most consistent backs in the league. So, maybe you should do that. and it seems to be working. So, helps that he also is not getting hit in the backfield like ever with that offensive line. That helps a lot. DeAndre Swift, we already covered it. The Eagles absolutely just, ram the ball down the throat of the Vikings.
I don't think you're going to see I don't think you're going to see Swift with that number again this season because no one's as bad as Minnesota up front.
He had one carry week 1, and then he goes off for 28 for 175 this week.
The other thing is you still got to remember they like Kenny Gainwell. That volume is not going to be there when Kenny Gainwell is healthy because Kenny Gainwell will be on the field for third downs. They've showed that, and he has done nothing to show that he deserves to have that taken from him because he just got hurt. It wasn't because of lack of performance,
But it's that Philadelphia offense the last few years that by week 5 they got a 3-headed monster, and one of them has a monster week 1 or 1 week, and then they don't do it again for 3.
It's true. I still don't want any part of that backfield.
Yeah, and Rashad Penny is not part of that monster either. Boston Scott is number 3.
Weird.
Yeah, I know. He sucks. Rashad Penny. Screw him. What a wasted pick. Anyway, Deebo Samuel.
What draft pick was that?
I don't know, man. We covered it before. It was like 12th round or something.
Keeps going down every time I ask.
No, I said 12th last week too.
Yeah.
Check the tape, sir. Anyway, Deebo Samuel gets in the end zone. Was aided by the fact that Brandon Ayuk was a little banged up. He's got a shoulder issue.
If Brandon Ayuk misses any time, Jacoby's team isn't going to look bad anymore because Christian McCaffrey and Deebo as a duo, not rad, unless Brandon Ayuk goes down.
Yep.
Then all of a sudden it's just the best money on the plate.
Yeah, because they're not using Kittle at all.
No.
Kittle's blocking. And you know what? Why would they? They're 2-0. Keep doing what's working.
Mm-hmm.
Kittle will have some weeks because that's what Kittle does. He's too talented not to, but he's not going to be consistent this year.
It's 4 or it's 25 with Kittle.
Yeah.
And he's doing his job well, whatever he's doing. But a lot of times it's blocking because he's the best blocking tight end in the league. That's unfortunate for his fantasy outlook. But the Jets defense is going to see better days probably, but who knows? Because when you got a quarterback that's dropping back and just handing meatballs to the other team, it's not going to help your defense, man. I mean, that's what he was doing the whole game.
Meatballs everywhere.
I
appreciate the meatballs. I needed them this week.
Man, is Zach Wilson bad? Anyway, should we move on to the next one?
Yeah, good job, Jacoby. Good win.
Yeah,
I'm afraid I'm not going to say that a lot this year.
Yeah, I think we were seeing a matchup of the toilet bowl probably right there, and Jacoby came out on top. He was the top turd. So congratulations.
Jesus. Hey, way to get a first win in this league again, you top turd.
Well, anyhow, so Trish coming out firing on the backs of her wide receivers. I mean, she's got the best one, and god dang if that guy doesn't put up 2,000 yards this year. I don't know how he gets less than 100 yards a week. If he does, they're doing something wrong.
Both those receivers did that on Thursday, too. So all week long, Erica just had to look at that fucking 40 piece that was already in there.
She's getting completely let down by Jamar Chase in that offense right now, too. It's not looking great. And Joe Burrow re-injured the calf. That's not good news. So it's not good news for Trish either, but there's more options at quarterback than there is at your first round draft pick. So you don't like to see that. Joe Mixon was fine for Trish. Scored 11.5 points. Volume. That guy, he doesn't really have it anymore, but you're banking on them being a good offense. They're not a good offense. He got it done anyway, but if they continue to muddle around like that, you're going to have more dud weeks than you are going to have good ones for Mr. Mixon. Pacheco, I think there's good news ahead for Pacheco, for Trish. I think he's going to continue to take on more of that workload in the backfield as he continues to get healthy. Because you got to remember, he was coming back from a pretty significant injury that he suffered in the playoffs. And he's just getting back up to steam. So, they're giving work to Clyde. They're giving work to Jerick McKinnon. But Pacheco is clearly the most talented runner in that backfield, and he's going to continue to take on more carries as the season goes on. Evan Ingram is a fine tight end. I mean, he's involved in the offense, which is all you can ask for out of your tight end if he's not one of the big three,
Yeah.
Ken Walker looked
team.
good. Yeah,
she's got a good team.
She does. And, she's got players on the bench too. I think Treylon is going to come on a little bit, especially if DeAndre Hopkins if DeAndre Hopkins is already banged up in week 2, that's not looking good for his season. That guy does not you got to keep that guy healthy till week 10 if you want him to have a solid year, because he's just missed a lot of time in recent years with injuries, and he's already dealing with lower body injuries. That's not looking good for him. But it's looking good for Treylon Burks.
Closer you get to 30, the slower your recovery time is too.
Yeah.
Trisha's got. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was going to move on to the next guy and just talk about how she's got Jerome Ford sitting down there on her bench now.
Potential league winner. However, okay, Kareem Hunt was visiting with the Browns today.
Seems like the most obvious fit now, right? Because
has to be.
Even if he doesn't have what maybe Fournette or somebody else has got, he knows the offense already.
What Fournette's got? Fournette is done.
He's toast.
I mean, yeah, or any of the other free agent running backs you might bring.
He is toast dipped in milk. He's over.
I mean, you are going to have a backfield situation a la what the Ravens had when they lost Gus Edwards, Justice Hill, and J.K. Dobbins for Leonard Fournette to get a job.
Still Jonathan Taylor on the table, maybe.
I mean, Jonathan Taylor in Baltimore would be nasty.
Yeah, it would.
That would be awesome.
That'd be cool. We'd all like to see that.
We'd finally get to see what we thought we were going to see with a high upside rushing quarterback paired with a beast runner. That would be cool.
True.
But if he retains that job, and he did nothing to lose it, he looked good. Jerome Ford is running the ball well. He's catching the ball well. He can definitely handle that. I don't know if he can sustain the workload. You know what I mean? Because
he's smaller.
There's not many that can.
Yeah.
Who's behind him?
They have Pierre Strong that they got from the Patriots, because the Patriots are like, this guy sucks. You can have
him. Nobody.
Yeah. So
got a touchdown.
Pierre Strong did?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
it did.
Whatever. It's good for him because he ain't going to see many in his career. I think you see Kareem Hunt sign there. I think they say, hey, Kareem, remember we didn't want to pay you? No hard feelings. Here's $8 million. Come play for us. I think that's what happens.
Right. I think you're right. It should be.
Yeah. They should give him $8 million, bring him in, and then they have a running back room again. That's what I think happens. There's not much to say for Erica. She had a lot of hope because the Hawk Strap had quite a week on Thursday night.
Then nobody else hit double digits on her team.
I mean, Chris Jones, I think, proved his point as to why he should get paid. Because he single-handedly changed that defense.
He's real good.
He's nasty. Not a lot of D tackles that can do what he does. There's really not any that can impact the game the way he does. I mean, Aaron Donald maybe, but Aaron Donald's getting a little older, but he can still do it. Scared the shit out of Gino. That was a funny clip.
Oh shit!
He's like, oh god, throws it in the dirt. Like I said, Josh Jacobs, negative rush yards, did it all through the air. Buffalo's got a good run defense, and the Raiders got a bad O-line. I just don't see it for Josh Jacobs this year. I don't think he's not going to have the upside they had last year. That's pretty clear to me through 2 weeks, unless they figure something out in a pretty major way. She's got a problem at running back, just like everybody else. Cam Akers, maybe Cam Akers lands in a decent position with all the injuries. It's possible. I don't think she should drop him quite yet. You give it a week to let it work out. Okay. but she's got Raheem Mostert, and he's looking nice. He's running the ball real well. And he should probably be in her lineup over AJ Dillon because AJ Dillon is not good.
No, the upside you get with the speed of Raheem Mostert is too much. Use him while he's playing because he won't play all the games.
She's also got probably one of the best potential league winning backups if and when eventually Kenneth Walker gets hurt, because he always seems to in his short career. Zach Charbonnet, I think, is a very competent backup that could be a workhorse back out there. And I think he will be if Ken Walker goes down. But that's ifs and maybes. You know, Ken Walker could stay healthy the whole year. She gets nothing. So,
it's hard. You know. It's hard holding on to a whole roster spot for the ifs and maybes, man. You can last a few weeks, but when things start moving and buys start happening, you're like, you got to go.
You realistically get one, maybe 2 slots on your bench that you can hold for somebody.
Yeah. But I mean, luckily, Jaden Reed looks good. Jaden Reed has been making plays for the Packers. They like him. I think he's going to get more involved. I mean, again, just like I've been saying about a lot of other guys, he's done nothing to show that he shouldn't be more involved. I mean, the only thing is that I think when you finally get Christian Watson back, which could probably be this week, it seems like maybe this week for Christian Watson, he's the big dog. You know, he's gonna eat into the share. The Packers are not throwing the ball a ton. I mean, some of the volume numbers were impacted by the fact that you had the most dominant play clock or play clock team in the league, the Atlanta Falcons. Those guys can eat clock like nobody. Eat clock. You know what I'm saying? It's close, but they can eat that clock. You know what I'm saying? They eat it real good. Anyway, so you cannot let those guys get up at the end of a game because they will run the clock out with Mr. Bijan, because you cannot tackle that man.
That's good.
He looks good.
So good. Crazy good. With that, should we get into Mr. CD's balls and Vanilla Victory? 2 of the best names in the league, by the way. Nice job, gentlemen. I like what you did there, both of you.
Good job. Half of the thank yous. I would like to also say thank you on behalf of Brent. I know that he appreciates that.
Yeah. So Jake, why don't you talk about your team? And then you got massively let down by one player in particular.
I mean, the only thing I don't appreciate about this week is that I fooled myself into thinking I had a chance. Because, again, I'm thinking I'm 0-4 with the Jonathan Taylor and Cooper Kupp news. So, like, the fact that I'm in it and I'm right in the middle of my division with people that could be coming back in 2 weeks, okay, I'll take a loss.
Not bad.
I'm just looking at 5 different roster spots that have less than 1 point on your entire team.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's also been the nice part, because outside of a couple moves, I have no choices when it comes to who I start.
Right.
Because I've got one person, I've got one body for every slot.
I went and found who Breece Hall against the Dallas Cowboys could have gotten you a victory, and the answer was nobody.
Nope. Nobody.
You didn't make the wrong choice.
Well, actually, that's not true. When it was down to 0.2, the Breece Hall for Quentin Johnston that I really wasn't ever going to make would have been the only one. But when they lost the other 2 points, it wouldn't have mattered. Well, that was back when I'm talking about. Remember when Cleveland got that sack and I was down 0.02? They had lost another point after that. That would have been enough to do it.
But But you wouldn't have had another running back to play, is what I'm saying. You already got a flexed wide receiver. You couldn't have put Quentin Johnson
you're right.
anyway.
I wouldn't have been able to. My only option was looking like it might have been Kendre Miller Monday night, but even he was inactive.
Well,
nothing.
I'm on fumes right now and I almost got 2 dubs out of it. So it's hard to not feel not terrible.
You gotta feel good. Mm-hmm. Breece Hall, man, is disgruntled with what he was given. I mean, he was not kept out because of injury either. He made that very clear after the game. He posted on his Twitter 4 football emojis and nothing else to indicate that he got the ball 4 times. And he was.
To be fair, though, I think Breece Hall, and it wasn't like they had another option. Him and Dalvin Cook combined for like 2 points or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the Cowboys are going to do to you. You know what I mean? So it wasn't looking good ever. with Zach Wilson at the helm. And, again, like we've been saying already, it's becoming a pattern. When you get down on the Cowboys, man, you're in trouble. You get down 2 scores, you in trouble because it's Micah Parsons' time. And that man's the best pass rusher in the league this year.
He's unreal.
It's not even close. You can't block him, man. Over and over again. He would hook under around the edge. He's not even spinning. He's not even doing anything fancy. He's coming off super low, throwing a swim, and he's passing.
When he gets the sack and he does that bear crawl and he drags his legs behind him, he's a freak of nature.
So
I love
nasty, man. And all the NFL guys are doing jiu-jitsu this year, man. It's good to see that. It's good publicity for jiu-jitsu. He's doing jiu-jitsu now.
Well, and he talks about doing boxing last year too, because he said it helps him understand where his opponent's hands are going to be. So when he's trying to swat and keep those big old 300-pound tackles from getting underneath his pads, it's just another advantage. The guy's always working to get better.
Seems like it's working for him too, I would say.
He's very good.
He's one of the best I've seen in recent memory. They were comparing him to LT.
Lawrence.
They were.
There's multiple people doing it, and it's old people doing it even.
Yeah. They're like, he looks like LT coming off the edge, and that is high praise, man. That's one of the best dudes to ever do it.
Of all time.
So, I mean, you like that you get Zach Moss because you're going to get that work that you would have gotten with JT. And Zach Moss, to his credit, looked good. I mean, they're playing Houston, but, Houston is looking better than some of the other putrid teams in the league this year. They got a coach that I think is doing something down there.
I would have to agree. That's kind of cool.
So
they're better than the Bears.
Damn right they are. I mean, it's not, like they've looked at least competent. I mean, they're at least calling plays that make sense for their team. Chicago. Like, come on, man.
Chicago.
So, I mean, Chicago, it's just disgraceful. But, Brandon Ayuk gets banged up. That doesn't help you. Cortland Sutton is in the worst offense in the league.
DeAndre Hopkins was a game-time decision that didn't practice literally once the whole week that I thought was going to be out too.
Yeah, that's rough. And then, I mean,
Jesus.
You even had Brandt pulling the double start that we called for. And didn't work out for Algier. But again, man, there was one play. I didn't watch the whole Packers game either. I watched the second half. But there was one play in the second half. Kenny Clark, 4 yards in the backfield. Juked him. Quay Walker, pretty good young linebacker for the Packers. Comes up 2 yards past the line of scrimmage. Jukes him. Gets into the secondary against the safety. Jukes him. The guy gets one hand on him, slows him down, or he was going to the house. Juked three guys.
First guy he juked ended up on his knees in the most awkward, ankles broken position I've seen all season. It was bad. All he did was a head nod. It wasn't even probably 40% of what he had.
It's because he can make those moves at full speed. He does not slow down at all. And that's when you can do that in the open field as a running back that has his speed and athleticism, and you can make moves like that. Like, you can't tackle him.
And his size too. He's small enough to, in the way the offense is working now, where you can get him going in motion, like we saw with Tyreek Hill. You get that, like, somebody that quick and that elusive with a head of steam against a defender who's standing still. No chance. No chance.
Get ready for a lot of years of Bijan being a dominant running back in the NFL, because if he stays healthy, good Lord, he's only going to get better. I mean, it's just it's fun to watch. I mean, I was, obviously he's playing against my team, but you got to respect that. Like, there's so much talent there.
Are you more excited now for Bijan than you were for Saquon when he came in the league?
I would say equally at this point, because you got to remember Saquon, when he came in, was doing the same type of stuff.
Oh, yes, he was.
Yeah,
they said things like Barry Sanders when Saquon came in the league.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what I mean. You just hope that Bijan doesn't rack up a few injuries that slow down that top speed and mobility that he has. Because Saquon still has it, but does he have it like he did when he was a rookie? Not quite. He's pretty close, but not quite.
It's close, but it's different.
It is a little bit different. Brant benefited from finally getting the Josh Allen that we're all used to seeing against the hapless Raiders. CeeDee Lamb had a nice game. You like to see that.
I believe, if I heard it right, CeeDee Lamb had his career high for catches against me this week. He had 13 targets and he caught 11 of them.
That hurts.
Yeah, you think with Sauce Gardner on the other side, like they're only going to their best guy, like you can put him on him, right? And they just let Reed die. They let Reed die the entire first half.
And then the times where Gardner was on the same half of the field, they'd be in zone coverage and he would have a 5-yard cushion on him underneath all day.
Sauce was also Sauce deleted his Twitter after the game to keep himself from posting. Smart move on his part.
I can't remember the last time somebody put up 30 points on the Jets. It's been a few years, right?
It has, man. They're a good defense, but again, when you have Zach Wilson throwing meatballs to the other team, you can't keep them off the board.
There's a reckless way in which you can play against that defense because as soon as something goes wrong, Micah Parsons comes on the field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'd be better off with Joe Flacco.
You're just not under threat at all. You can turn the ball over, and then you're like, oh, yeah, cool. It's our defense, and it's Zach Wilson. So we're fine.
And you can snowball a young, dumb quarterback, too.
Yeah. Oh, my God. He got that deer in the headlights look that every young quarterback gets when they're playing a defense like that and they're losing. They start pressing. They start forgetting their reads. They don't go through their progression. Their footwork gets choppy.
You can see them trying to not show their frustration on their face.
Yeah.
And it's so obvious.
Yeah. And, I mean, he is an easily rattled quarterback. He's just not good, man. It's just he needs to not be starting on any team ever again. But Darren Waller got some volume going on. Jahan Dotson had a little bit of a not great week. Terry McLaurin put up a little bit more, and they ran the ball a lot on Denver, which was surprising because Denver usually has a pretty good run defense, but there's not really much that's good in Denver this year at all. So
no.
Other than that one young corner, and I feel bad for him because he's a very talented player. He's on a bad team.
Yep.
So anything else to say?
A couple more notes. If you'd have put Gabe Davis in, I wouldn't have had a chance, and he had him in all week. So there was a little bit of fortune there. The other note that I'll make is that Daniel Jones was at negative 0.18 right before halftime and finished as the QB1 for the week.
Jesus.
The Vanilla Vic.
Yeah, right. The namesake almost brought me through.
Would not have been able to do that.
How many yards on the ground did he have?
Maybe in Chicago,
Yeah.
Because Arizona's bad on defense.
He had 9 carries for 59 yards and a touchdown on the ground, 321 through the air for two more touches and a pick. How do we feel about Brandt's team? Because I remember being real high on him after the draft, and now I'm confused because he's not put up 100 points in 2 straight weeks.
He's got Christian Watson coming back. It's going to help a lot.
Yeah, because you're gonna lose Jahan Dotson there,
and you're gonna put Jahan Dotson in the flex, and then he can throw,
or Gabe Davis.
Or Gabe Davis. His biggest problem is his RB2 slot to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yep.
He's got a few people vying for it. One of them might pan out, but it's looking like Jeff Wilson when he comes back. Maybe Justice Hill, who I'm not super excited about. Maybe Jalen Warren's the best option late season.
I think we have to stop targeting the Arizona offense unless you're playing an elite defense against them, because 2 weeks in a row it has not worked out. They're not the complete stink pool that we thought they were going to be. Because
at least offensively, you're right.
Yeah, exactly. And they've made plays on defense.
But hey, if you happen to have Dallas's defense, go ahead and start them next week.
There you go.
Are they playing the Cardinals?
Feel free to pick up Dallas's defense against the Cardinals. Next
Josh
week.
Dobbs ain't going to be doing shit. So,
I need 3 fucking touchdowns for my defense next week to compete.
I don't know if he's as bad as
change you a running back for a defense.
They're for sale, and I hate it, but they're for sale. Everything is.
They should be. They're our defense worth trading for. They're a 10-point plus defense every week to me.
So it's going to take a running back, as we all know.
The only team
Andre Miller.
the only team I would consider can't drink. The only team I would consider not starting them against, and I would still start them, is Miami.
Yeah,
because
still would because of their turnover potential.
Yeah, I think Miami is maybe the only offense that I could see. You know, maybe Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
still would though.
Yeah,
because those are the two quarterbacks that have turned the ball over quite a bit.
Yeah.
Now San Francisco is the one that seems rough because they hold on to the ball so well.
And Dallas can be run on a little bit.
That's fucking last year's news, dog.
You better do it early because the Giants ran it real well on the first drive and then went down after that blocked kick and were not able to do it again for the rest of the game.
What I mean, though, Cody, is when the Jets played the Buffalo, mm-hmm. they ran the ball well because Breece Hall ran the ball well, not because the offensive line was getting a push. If you remember that, he got hit in the backfield over and over and over again, and he was still getting 5-6 yards because he's Breece fucking Hall. Okay, mm-hmm. That didn't happen this week because they didn't feed him the ball because apparently Zach Wilson is a better option than just running the ball 30 times for some stupid reason.
Makes sense.
But anyway, moving on. Last one.
Yeah. Yep. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Mr. Strozzi, the other 2-0 team.
Doing it.
Nope. He's not. Who's
definitely not?
Allen is the other 2-0 team.
Okay.
His roommate.
My bad. Oh yeah, you beat Jake last week. That's correct.
Mm-hmm. Because he can't. Because he can't fucking lose to that man.
Apparently not.
Keeping him as Jake number 2 in the back pocket every fucking year.
Something that would be fun at a later date to maybe include in the league would be like a battle of the Jakes belt. That would be fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it's mine right now.
Yeah, and like it's a really one-sided rivalry. I gotta warn you.
Yeah, but what I'm just saying,
this is like Cowboys Giants football.
In recent years, yes.
Or Raiders, Broncos, like they just can't do it.
There you go. But Buddy Claus,
Packers, Bears.
Luis putting up a good performance with with what I think is a lackluster team. Going with the other running back stack.
Nice to see that he's given up on Kyle Pitts as everybody should.
He should. I don't know why Desmond Ritter's bad. Though. God, Desmond Ritter is bad. But hey, he got Drake London. He got Drake London points.
He did not look good at all. And so all I'm saying is the moment they lose 2 in a row.
He looked good enough to beat the fucking Packers.
Yeah, sure. You know who looked good enough to beat the Packers? Bijan Robinson. That's what happened.
One guy was good enough to beat your team.
Yeah, if you watched the last drive of that game, Bijan Robinson beat our team. That's what happened. Literally. Ran the clock out because of Bijan.
And figuratively.
Yeah. So anyhow, what I'm trying to say is the moment that the Falcons lose 2 in a row, it's Taylor Heineke time, is what I'm trying to say. That's what's going to happen.
You might be right. You might be right. Desmond Ritter's not good. He's not good.
Terrible.
Yeah,
Taylor Heineke at least can throw the ball.
So are the coaches there. So I could see them riding that dumpster fire through the whole season.
You know what?
I mean, they're 2-0, right?
Yeah. I don't think the coaches are bad. I think Arthur Smith knows what he wants to do, and they run the ball better than anybody in the league. So I don't think you can call them bad.
But I don't, like you said, I don't think they did it because of play calling. They think they did it because of Bijan.
Yeah, but they're calling plays based on their personnel. Chicago. You know, and they have a great running team. So they keep running the ball as they should. New York Jets. Okay. So anyway, at least they're a team that knows what they have and they're using that. And they don't
Which
have
is great because they were the exact opposite of that last year, if you remember right.
Yeah.
Do you think they just hate him?
They can throw the ball.
Do you think they just absolutely fucking hate Kyle Pitts?
No, maybe. I think they have a quarterback that can't get the ball in his hands, so they can't get the ball in his hands. I mean, they haven't had a quarterback in 2 years that can put the ball in his hands. If you can't put the ball in the guy's hands, he can't do anything with the ball. It's simple math. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, they throw a screen to their other tight end?
That's
like in this game. I mean, probably. I think they did.
He's just out there as a decoy. Like, hey, this guy's really good. Remember, we took him in the first round. We're going to throw him the ball. Oops. Nope. We're going to throw it to that guy who nobody fucking knows.
It's just incredible.
It's like a we cannot, no matter what, pay Kyle Pitts after his rookie contract. So what do? Well, why don't we just never look at him?
Tank him for 3 years.
And then we'll really get a good deal.
Somebody is going to get a screaming hot deal on Kyle Pitts in the free agent market. Is what's going to happen. And
Trade
they're going
the man.
to watch him go out
and
there.
Hopefully he hasn't mentally given up by that point.
You'd hope not. I mean, he's still uber talented. I mean, watch him go out to LA with Justin Herbert and absolutely crush.
He's the kind of guy I could see going to New England. Everybody fucking like pissing and moaning about, but nobody else got him.
Don't say that.
You know what I mean?
I don't want to see that. That's gross.
Here's the pissing and moaning I'm talking about.
Say that LA thing again. I fucking don't like that.
You hate it because you can feel it too.
It's fucking gross. Send him to Miami, man. Let's watch him on that offense. Let's go, man. They need a tight end.
They don't need that. That'd be incredible.
It ain't about need. I want to see it on TV, baby.
Well, like I said, they're going to get a good deal.
You're right.
He's not going to be worth a lot because he hasn't done anything. He can't go bargain for money because they're going to be like, hey, remember when you got 300 yards last year? We're going to pay you this, guy.
Yeah, we'll pay you like a tight end who gets 300 yards. How about that?
Yeah.
Here's your 1 year deal.
Yeah, I mean, but anyway, let's talk about Luis's team. Patty Mahomes had a better week. Welcome back, Travis Kelce. He's got his best friend back.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Evans have a day.
Dude, Mike Evans is still good.
Yes, he is.
He's just still good.
You know who else is playing well? Baker Mayfield.
Yes, he is.
Playing well.
Yes, he is.
Playing well. 2-0.
A lot of heart.
2-0 Bucks. You wouldn't have thought we were going to see that, you know?
No. They're going to start putting that man in commercials again just for him to shit the bed about week 9.
What? You give Baker Mayfield some momentum, and that's when he actually could be a competent quarterback. You give that man the opportunity to believe in himself for half a second, and I think he actually could be good.
Hey guys.
You're absolutely right. He's all gusto. He's fucking Gardner Minshew that year. Swagger. When the swagger's gone,
listen.
So
you want to talk swagger? We're going to see Baker Mayfield in a creamsicle jersey this year.
Ooh.
Hey,
yeah, it is.
You know what?
Yeah, it is.
I'm going to root for him again just because.
Look at us.
Oh yeah,
he got beat up.
Hell
yeah. Let's go, Baker.
Let's
go.
Come
Baker over Derek Carr.
Oh God. Don't say that.
Nah,
I
mean,
like,
I'm
not that far.
I want to cheer for him more than Derek.
I think Derek Carr is a little bit better of a quarterback, but yeah, I'm definitely way more Baker than I am Derek Carr.
Thank you for being
I'll clarify.
Because I was not okay with that.
I was like, wow, I think we're going to have to put some caveats in the notes to this pod. Anyhow.
Sorry about what happened at the hour 20 mark. We lost Jake.
He's
on the sauce. Yeah. It's the meth. It's the meth.
He's the Dustin Diamond of our podcast.
Oh, God.
So, I don't know what we're doing playing Ramondre and Zeke in the same lineup.
Neither does he. It's fine.
Yeah.
The thing is that I could see if I'm
and he's still putting up more points than Brant.
The thing that I can see if I'm arguing on behalf of Luis is that the Los Angeles Chargers ran all over Miami the week before, and you would think that Bill Belichick's going to figure out how to do that. But what happened is everybody forgot that the defensive coordinator for Miami is Vic Fangio. He's a good coach, and he figured it out in a week.
Also,
look at Luis's team.
It's just not an offense you have two players on in the same lineup.
Speaking of not having more than two players, Luis had those two running backs and Kenneth Gainwell, who didn't play. So he, without picking somebody up, he had zero options besides
Luis needs to be digging in the waiver wire bin. That's where he needs to be.
He needs to make a move for sure.
Yeah, you need a running back.
Have an empty spot every week.
You need a running back.
I think it's time to get rid of Jonathan Mingo.
Yeah, and Ezekiel Elliott.
Well. Now, hold on a minute. Jonathan Mingo only caught 3 passes. However, he had 11 targets in that game.
He had 8 targets.
Are you sure?
I'm looking at it right now.
Okay, but still, 8 targets?
Stat man.
That's it. We call it, we call him the human spreadsheet.
On the stat sheet.
Isn't it the balance sheet? Then we call you the human balance sheet.
Yeah, it's the balance sheet.
Yeah, whatever.
Potato.
Same thing. Yeah,
you're right.
Let's bring the shirt back, dude. Don't you have a shirt that says that?
We got a shirt for you for that.
Yeah, come on, man.
I have no idea. Does that still exist?
You'd be the one to have it.
Yeah, man. I thought you had
it. Oh, you did give me a shirt. Yeah, it's gone.
Your gifts mean nothing
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah, it's gone.
Oh,
that came from you? Oh, I actually, I thought I didn't know, but it came from you.
There
so
was an insult behind that
In the
fucking
garbage.
nickname when it was first put on me. And then I got a shirt to Brandon, and I was like, I don't want this shit. I'm out of
That's
here.
a good nickname, man. It's not
Yeah,
a terrible name.
I've
I'm here
embraced
for
it since.
It could be worse. It could be the Fantasy Prince,
That's a great nickname. It just
Yeah.
means that you're not the king.
The Fantasy Prince.
Hey,
It's a really great name.
Waiting.
It is a great name.
He's the king in
Who's
waiting.
the Fantasy Prince?
That's me. Come on now.
No, it's not.
Remember
We
last
covered
week?
this last week.
Oh god.
Yeah,
But he's
anyway.
a prince because he's not number one. He's like
you completely
he's not
wrong
even
word
the
last week.
oldest son.
That's right. He's like the Fantasy Duke.
Uh-huh.
Nah.
You're the Fantasy Duke without Coach K.
We are the prince, sir. Now, anyway, moving on. Luis got lucky that Amari Cooper suited up and had a nice game.
Amari Cooper's always good. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, he played
I mean,
well.
not lucky because he still lost by 14, so it's irrelevant. But it could have looked worse on paper.
That's
true.
the point.
Yeah, Luis got a bad team. Luis, figure it out, dog.
I would trade Mike Evans right now for a 2-piece. That's what I would do if I had that squad.
Yeah.
For a
absolutely.
2-piece. First wide receiver 2 and RB2.
Honestly, maybe hold on to Mike Evans and then try to move something else because Mike Evans.
You got a team like
Mike
this.
Evans might be the best thing he's got.
When you got a team like this, you got holes. You got to fill those holes.
I think you move
You know how
Patrick
much
Mahomes.
Exactly.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
Move Patrick
This is
Mahomes.
looking like that Josh Allen trade I made
Mhm.
last year. Get Joe Mixon and Geno Smith.
Yep. Hold
Good
on
call,
to Kelsey. Move Patrick Mahomes for big numbers. You can get a good running back.
Send him on
Patrick
over to
Mahomes.
Allen for Kirk Cousins.
Get you exactly.
Allen.
Get you.
Ooh. Mhm,
That's what
mhm.
you do there. Because Kirk Cousins this year's Geno Smith.
Interesting. They're gonna play. Their defense is gonna give up a lot of points. He's gonna throw a lot.
Yeah.
I mean,
throwing 40 a game.
the quarterback
Mhm.
4 through the first 2 weeks is on the waiver wire.
Who's that, sir?
Russell Wilson.
No.
No.
God, get out of here.
God.
Just no.
He's
No.
the
should
QB
never
4.
touch-
I hear
I'm
you.
just
I
going
hear
up
you.
the balance sheet.
Yeah.
If that man starts in a fantasy lineup this year for somebody, I quit.
Okay.
How about that?
The QB8
That's all it takes.
QB8 is Mac Jones, and he's also on the waiver wire. The QB10 is Jared Goff. My point is that you can move Patty Mahomes and find somebody serviceable and get somebody really good.
Like
to
Jared
put in a
Goff
running
and
back
none of those
spot.
other two that you mentioned.
It's true. I would
Jared
not.
Goff's
I
way
would.
better.
Yeah, if I'm upgrading my running back from Zeke Elliott to someone like, I don't know, Brian Robinson, but it ain't gonna be Brian Robinson. But if it
He's
was,
playing too good.
yeah, I wouldn't mind having Jared Goff on my team. You kidding?
Yeah. You got to target a Kyron Williams, for example.
God, he ain't going
Be
nowhere.
nice.
Todd's holding on to
Probably.
Todd's
Todd's
holding
tough
on
guy
to
to trade with.
that. He is. He doesn't like moving.
Nope.
Doesn't like grooving.
Well, he has made
He
some
does,
good calls.
but he
just hasn't won
doesn't
yet.
want to do it for anything less than top dollar. I mean,
Yeah.
he's a smart trader. but
He's
stingy.
not the type to trade just to see some movement. And our league's got like 8 of those people in it. Like they'll do it. They'll do it just to see some action. Yeah, both of you guys will do it.
Not this year, though.
Yeah,
More
you're gonna
More
the reins
discipline
down?
this year. More discipline this year.
I'm letting it sling.
I'm going to be
I'm saying
trading
let's do it.
heavy when I get JT and Cooper Cup back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. No
I
shit.
mean, if I guess, but
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I got something in the works right now.
I really hope for Puka's sake, fucking Cooper's or Cup's just not ready. Like he's just.
right. Are we
see
done
what your
on this
boys put
matchup?
together.
And then we can just do some common.
No, we
chat
didn't talk
the
about
league?
Jake's team at all. We
Yeah,
gotta
and
get
Jake
Yeah, we're
won.
just going off the
Yeah.
rails. Let's do this last one.
Justin
T.
Herbert.
Higgins. T. Higgins had a 0 burger last week. Puts up
Mhm.
25 this week.
And you know what? That's the reason why you don't panic about Jamar Chase. Okay?
Yeah.
Because if somebody's doing it on the team, that means Jamar Chase is going to do it soon, as long as Joe Burrow stays healthy, which he
Yeah.
might not.
And
might
we've
not.
mentioned it every week, but the Bengals were shit to start last season too, and
Yeah.
they turned it around. So
And they honestly, they kept this game close. Like, they came back. They had a chance to win it at the end of the
Mhm.
game. Like, they could have won. It was not the ultimate beatdown that they got put on them in week 1 by the Browns, you know. And I think we need to temper our Browns love just a little bit. They still obviously they played great still last night on defense.
Oh yeah, dude. No. The Browns love is over because Nick Chubb died.
Yeah. The whole game script's done. Their defense is going to be on the field all the time now.
Yeah, their defense looks worse because Nick Chubb no longer exists.
I don't know that that's entirely true. I think they take a step back, of course, because how could you not? However, they still ran the ball without Nick Chubb on the field, and they ran it pretty well. So
they did, but there was a game flow difference afterwards, and it felt like survival. Them scrawling and crapping, scrapping.
Scrawling and crapping,
scrawling and crapping. Put it on a shirt. Let's go. Let's go. Put it on the press. No, but I mean, what I mean is that I think the ultimate smackdown that they put on the Bengals in week 1, partially weather,
weather,
partially weather, and they played the Bengals in a weather game, and they played a very underwhelming Pittsburgh offense. I would like to see them against a competent offense that's playing in a non-weather game,
and someone that's not in the division. That they're not maybe so evenly matched up against.
And that they don't know so well.
Did they play Detroit this year?
I don't know that.
Because just thinking about that matchup on paper, like if it's in Detroit, that'd be fun to see.
That's a fun one, too, because you have a dominant O-line and a dominant D-line. See who wins that matchup.
Negative Ghost Rider.
Yeah. Maybe they'll meet in the Super Bowl. Probably not. But
Deshaun Watson and Jared Goff in the Super Bowl. Holy smokes.
Jahmyr Gibbs looking up for 1 week at least because Dave Montgomery's probably out.
Probably 3 weeks. Dave Montgomery's going to miss close to a month.
You're funny. Anyhow, James Conner had a game. Probably the only one he's going to have all year. So you like that.
100 yards and a touchdown. I haven't seen him do that in a while.
And Tyreek had a floor game because their whole plan, like Belichick does to every team, is to take away the top option. And they didn't really take him away.
12 and a half on a floor. All right.
It's disgusting to me to see a wide receiver projected as much as a quarterback, but 18.3 is Tyreek's projection going into the game.
He's so good.
And he's one of the most – he's top 3 talented wide receiver. I mean, he's number 3, right, behind Chase and Jefferson. And, I mean, this year he might be number 2. So and then you have an offensive freaking mastermind who just like the motion that they use with him, what they do with him to get him open and to get him with a full – like, why would you not? You have the fastest wide receiver in the league. Why not start him on a full run?
It feels like they just never waste it. And like anytime you see him not utilized, you're just like, why aren't you using this freak athlete that way? But they do. He's always in space. He's always moving. I
think Tyreek loves playing down there. He seems very happy in Miami.
He does.
Yeah, and that's also dangerous, So
honestly, Dan Laporta on Jake's squad. Like, I think he's got a legitimate tight end.
Dan Laporta.
I think he does.
It's Sam Laporta, you son of a bitch.
Nope, it's Dan Laporta. You heard what I said.
He's very involved because he needs to be, because they don't have much outside of Amon-Ra. They do have Josh Reynolds, who has played well for them. And he's a potential waiver wire target because he's seeing volume. And he's playing well. He's doing well with it.
Josh Reynolds is the wide receiver 10 through 2 weeks.
So I'm saying, man, he's involved and he's making catches. And, you got to remember he had some good some good moments out in LA too. When he was out there.
Well, and to Cody's point about Laporta, super efficient. He's got week 1, 5 targets. He caught all 5 of them. This week, 6 targets, caught 5 of them for 63 yards. Not 60 numbers, but
for a tight end,
but it's efficient.
He's the 3rd tight end off the board in a very talented tight end class. He went before Musgrave, I believe. It was Kincaid went first, obviously, and then you had Mayer, and then I think it was Laporta and then Musgrave. So Laporta, they were saying good things about him all offseason too, about his knowledge of routes and his knowledge of the game. I don't think he's a very explosive guy, but he could develop into because Travis Kelce is not he's not like an explosive tight end, right? Travis Kelce, no, hear what I'm saying, okay? Travis Kelce dominates defenses because of his knowledge of where to sit down in a zone and because of how good of a connection he has with Patrick Mahomes. And then when Travis Kelce turns upfield, he has a wiggle to him where he can wiggle out of a tackle, and when he gets moving, he's a big man, right? But Travis Kelce dominates defenses based on his ability to sit down in zones and to get open across the field. Okay, and Sam Laporta, that's mainly what he's doing. You know what I mean? Like he's finding the holes in the zone. He's making the most out of short targets. So if he develops some run after the catch ability, I mean, who knows, man? You know, he might develop into a real talent. So that's the point I'm trying to make. You know what I mean? Travis Kelce's not like what I mean is Travis Kelce's not a burner like Chigo Okonkwo or Kyle Pitts. You know what I mean? He's not a speedster.
Yeah.
He does it off of talent and his knowledge of the game, really.
Jake's still got a solid team. I think we've all kind of been in consensus about that. But if Jake puts the Steelers defense in his starting lineup, he's the highest scorer of the week.
Mm-hmm. And anytime TJ Watt is on the field, Pittsburgh's defense should be in his lineup.
What do you mean who's going to do that? I might have done that against Cleveland.
I would have done it.
And the Dolphins defense against New England. Yeah, those don't seem too far apart for me.
I would not have done it. I would not have done it after seeing how terrible they looked against San Francisco. I would not have done it.
I'll give you that.
A hard play to make. They got absolutely crushed by San Francisco.
Yeah.
In all facets of the game.
They did. They did.
So that's why it would have been hard to do that.
Who do they got next
especially
week?
Facing down Nick Chubb on the other side.
Who's Pittsburgh got next week?
They got Vegas next week.
Ooh. You should be starting there.
And then Houston the week after that.
Ooh.
Sounds like 2 in a row.
Yep.
But Miami is not a bad defense to start.
They're not a bad defense.
They got some playmakers.
And they got Denver this week.
You know who I like on Miami that I think is kind of an X factor on that defense, and then we'll do some matchups and call this thing a day. But their safety, Javon Holland, he was making play after play after play. He is as good as they come against the run. He's got nose for the football. He was setting the edge constantly in that game. Speaking of which, C.J. Gardner-Johnson's been playing great for the Lions this year. He's done for the year. That hurts the Lions defense. I don't know if you guys heard that.
I did not hear that.
Yeah. He's a fun guy to watch, too. Talks a lot of shit. Plays hard. I like it.
A lot of it on Philadelphia, too. It's great.
Yeah. He had tore his pec, so he gone.
Damn.
So
that'd be so painful.
Brutal.
Can you imagine?
Feel it constantly every time he moves. Yeah. It's like a rib, like breaking a rib. Same thing. Anyway, nice win, Jake. Let's move it on. Let's talk about some matchups and then let's get out of here. Huh?
Let's do it.
Now where do I see the matchups coming? Is it the scoreboard?
Go to your schedule, hit preview, and then you can swipe.
Scoreboard is where you can see them all.
Oh, okay.
Either one works.
And change it to week 3. But I got Todd next week, and if our dynasty matchup this week was any representation, I'm gonna lay the smack down. So we'll see, man.
Well, let's look at it.
Yeah. He honestly, for Kyron Williams, Cincinnati's not a bad matchup. James Cook gets Washington, though. Washington's got a good run defense. Devontae gets Pittsburgh. I don't know. You guys pick it. I'm not going to pick my own matchup.
It looks pretty close to me. I don't hate any of the matchups, but
I like Lamar in the Ravens against Indianapolis because they got a bad defense.
I don't like DJ Moore at all just because he's in Chicago and KC looks to have a good defense as well.
Now that Chris Jones is back.
I want to give you the nod because Saquon's not in, but Kyron Williams plugging that void doesn't make me feel too bad about it. I'd probably give you the nod with a slight advantage.
I'm also in the midst of a move that could certainly spice things up for my squad.
Yeah, you want to talk about it?
Nope. We'll talk about it when it goes through. I'm not going to let you guys sabotage it. So anyway. Because you probably could.
Who's it with?
Don't worry about it. You'll know when it's announced. Anyway. So anyhow, I think that move's going to help me a lot, though. So you'll see. It's not with Todd.
Is it Allen?
Stop guessing.
Is it
It
Jacoby?
is Allen.
It's Allen. Interesting.
Yeah, it's totally Allen.
Who you
Good
move
guess,
with
guys.
Allen?
I'm getting Tony Pollard.
He's not making it up because he had the name ready.
Oh, you guys keep guessing. Yeah, totally getting Tony
Interesting.
Pollard. It's gonna be
All
great.
right. All right.
Yeah. Anyway,
We'll see. We'll see.
you have no idea what I'm doing, and that's the way I like it. Now, anyway, we got Austin and Allen. I'm gonna have to go Allen here.
I'm gonna have to go Allen.
Yeah. I don't need to look at the sheet.
Nope, not gonna. Even if he trades away Tony Pollard.
Yeah,
Ooh, but you got Tua and Jalen going against Denver.
he does.
There's,
You like
there's,
that.
there's a chance that that's a 50 burger between the two of them.
He's got Tony Pollard going against Arizona.
Oh,
That ain't gonna help. But
yeah, I'm
anyway,
going Allen. Going Allen.
yeah, you gotta go
Going
Allen. We got Jacoby and the butthole wrecker. I'm gonna lean towards Jacoby because I don't know what the hell Cody's gonna do.
There are some questions.
Yeah.
Question marks got me picking the
There are some
Youngs River
red
Marauders.
cues on my side of the line.
Cody, you're
Yes,
not going to
there
lose
are.
to Dave's squad, are you? Because I'm going to let him know.
That'd be funny.
That would
That'd be really funny.
fucking
It'd be really
hilarious.
funny.
Dave's
Really
squad,
funny.
if he beats
Yeah.
Dave's squad that has been made worse, by the way, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, a
no shit.
neutered Dave's squad.
Oh, we're gonna shit on you so hard when you lose that matchup.
Look, if I
It's gonna be
stay
great.
if I stay gold, we get an undefeated versus an undefeated, and the week after that, me against Allen. So I'm gonna try to.
And then I'll pick
I'd
Allen
bring-
because your team fucking sucks now.
hoping Aaron Jones is feeling better by then.
You're fucked. Anyway,
It doesn't look good.
you get Miles Sanders going against Seattle. You like that? They don't have good
You
defense.
like that?
Yeah,
I
you
like
do.
Aaron Jones if he plays. But yeah, there's a lot of.
You like Aaron Jones running the ball against New Orleans? I do not, sir.
He can catch the ball too. He doesn't have to just run it.
That's true, but New Orleans got good linebackers and they got a good.
They have a
run
good defense. They have a good defense. I mean, look at my roster, dog.
Yeah.
If Aaron Jones is playing, Aaron Jones is playing.
Your best
Yeah.
matchup is Keenan Allen.
Yeah, I know it
against
is.
Minnesota. He gonna light it.
And maybe if Anthony Richardson plays this week, he'll get a start if he's available.
Sure.
Because the potential for him to run the ball in 3 times is just too high.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
And I think Dak's not going to do anything because it's not going to be needed.
It's true. What do you think? What do you think about my little flex down there with Puka going against Cincinnati?
I think Puka deserves every flex spot that he gets right now because he's proven it. Played one of the best defenses in the league and put up a better week than he did week 1.
Yep.
So
20 targets.
wild.
Right. Wow.
It's going to drop down to 10 when Cup comes back, but still.
But 10 will feel
I've
great.
never.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've seen 20 targets.
Allen Robinson before just that was the last time I saw a target share that aggressive.
Keenan Allen has definitely done it before as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're gonna go all the way
You're
back,
naming some big people here.
Brandon
Some
Marshall.
Good crowd to be in.
he broke the record, man.
Yeah.
That's the company he's in right now, and he's proven to
I
be
can't
worth
wait
every
for
penny.
He's
Cooper
so
to get
much
those
larger
back.
than I thought he was going
Cooper
to be.
is gonna fucking
big guy.
eat when he comes
Big
back.
man.
Cooper's
That
gonna-
offense, man. The
Matt
Rams might
Stafford's
have
good.
something.
Matt Stafford's
Rams might
good.
have something.
That's the thing. Matt Stafford is good.
They need to if Cooper comes back and they actually look solid like they've looked the last 2 weeks. I think McVay's got to pull out the stops and try to get some pieces on defense and try to make.
I agree.
Because
I
that's all
agree.
they got left.
How fun would that be though? Because like they were just in the championship a couple of years ago, and this would be besides Stafford almost a completely revamped offense.
If I'm
No
McVay,
Beckham, no Robinson, no Robert Woods, no whatever running backs were there. It's completely different.
that's what happens when you have a good coach, man, and you got a good
Mhm.
quarterback. If I'm McVay though, because McVay's already been toying with the idea of being done, right, or
Mhm.
moving on. I completely mortgage the entire future of this team and just try to get another Super Bowl.
Mhm.
That's what I would
Oh,
do
yeah.
for him. Just sell him down the river, a la Bill O'Brien.
I think you bring in fucking Honey Badger. You bring in Mateo from New Orleans on a big trade when you're like 6-2.
Send 3 years of first rounds. Let's do it.
Well, do something
not
better
just
than
for
that.
him. Not just for
Oh
him.
God,
Okay.
Yeah. Get rid of it.
Yeah. So sell Cam Akers for whatever the hell you can get, and then trade that for something.
Bag of Funyuns.
Yeah, right.
I guess so. But
average Jason Trish. Who do we got in that one?
That's your next one. My next one's Erica.
They're all different. Who cares?
Okay. Trish and Average Jakes.
Man, two really good teams, by the way.
Yeah.
I gotta look at this. Herbert against Minnesota. You'll love to see that.
I'm gonna go Jake just because I don't think Joe Burrow is gonna be healthy. And she's gonna have to go to the waiver wire.
Well, I'm gonna trade her Dak Prescott. So imagine
Trish, don't do it.
I mean, why not? Why wouldn't Trish do that?
She better not be giving you Jerome Ford for fucking your quarterback, or I'm gonna be pissed.
Why not?
It's Dak fucking Prescott.
It's Jerome Ford.
She could find Dak Prescott on the waiver wire.
I don't think you can find Dak Prescott on the waiver wire because he's on my team.
We just named 4 guys that are put up the same amount of points.
I think I'm going with Trish on this one. I see that Jake's either got to play James Conner against Dallas, or he's got to put in one of Dameon Pierce or Jamal Williams, who I do not like. So his running back 2 spot's going to be almost empty.
Jamal might not be available.
But fucking Justin Herbert and Mike Williams against Minnesota, stacking up, that's dirty.
Could be, but Mike Williams might only put up 10, and it goes to Keenan Allen, and whoever else. You know what I mean?
Well, this week it went to both. Keenan Allen just got the touchdowns.
Mm-hmm. Tell you what, I like Jake. I like Jake here.
Fair enough. I'm taking Trish.
I'm taking Trish as well.
You want to do Erica and you, Jake?
Sure.
For Erica's sake, she should probably throw Raheem Mostert out there.
Yeah.
She gets Trevi Lawrence and Calvin Ridley.
Take AJ Dillon out of there and get Mostert in,
especially against New Orleans. Come on,
Trevor Lawrence and Calvin Ridley going against Houston makes my butthole pucker, and I just have a really hard time picking my team any of these first 4 weeks.
I'm with you on that.
Zay Flowers is going to roast Indianapolis too.
You're right.
Yeah. So
you might
be probably not going to get stuck.
And I don't know if Eckler's going to play. I don't know if Brandon Ayuk's going to play. And if they don't play, I've got an empty spot. Literally just an empty spot.
She's got some good matchups.
Probably picking Erica in this week, and I'm sorry about it.
It's okay. You guys both picked me this last week. I appreciate that. And,
hey, I was willing to be wrong for you.
Not again, though.
Hey, when you're playing against can't score 100 points, Brant, why would you pick him?
Yeah, that's rough.
Circular logic there, but I can appreciate it.
Thank you.
Although I think Brant is going to get in the win column this week for our last matchup breakdown because
he's playing the worst team in our league.
I think Lamar. No,
sorry,
Austin. Not the worst team.
Austin, my bad.
Hold on a minute, though.
Sorry.
Hold on a minute, though.
Second worst team.
Patty Mahomes and Kelsey are going against. Say it, Patrick. I know you're looking at it.
Bears. Turd burglars.
The Bears. And it's in Kansas City. That's going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be. They're 12.5-point favorites, I think, right now.
Now,
dang.
I hope Luis gets smart and does not start both those running backs against the Jets because that's.
Well, he's got to make a move because it's dumb.
Probably going to get Kenny Gainwell back though on the long week because they're playing Monday. So
I don't like Mike Evans against Philly.
Philly has given up some production though.
They have, but I'm thinking traditionally they don't give up a lot of points, and of course they have not looked as dominant. So I could be wrong, but you've also got Marquise Brown against Dallas.
I'm looking at the waiver order, and I'm only saying this because this episode won't come out until after the waiver clears tomorrow. But Luis has got the number 1 waiver order pick, so he could have any running back off the board that he wanted to this week.
Hey, have you looked at him?
I mean, they're not great, but
they're better than Ezekiel Elliott.
They're better than Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Well, and
He's
you don't
right.
want to get Matt Breida for the 1 week that he's going to be able to play, and then he's going to play San Francisco.
That's true.
I think you probably go Craig Reynolds or Tony Jones.
I'd say Craig Reynolds.
So Tony Jones is probably going to get a lot of work for New Orleans because Jamal's hurt.
Yeah, but I mean Montgomery's going to be out at least 3 weeks, so like you want to have that for multiple matchups.
The receiver waiver wire options this week look much better because I like Josh Reynolds, I like Tank Dell.
I like Josh Reynolds a lot.
Yeah. And even KJ Osborne is where they have to flex in a good match.
He was better after week 1. He's one of those ones nobody really wanted to kind of buy into, but then he put up a solid week 2.
Mm-hmm.
He's had 2 weeks in a row now where on multiple plays, the defense just forgets that he's also out there.
Mm-hmm.
The touchdown he scored, nobody was within like 15 yards of him. And then in week 1, he caught a 30-yard pass where, everybody's like, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hockenson. Oh, yeah, Osborne's here too.
Also an eligible receiver. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and he's averaging 10 targets a game too. So you're going to get some stuff just off volume with those kind of numbers.
He's a good wide receiver. He's a competent wide receiver. So he can get it done, But that pretty much does it, huh, guys? Anything else?
Are we all picking Brant here?
Oh, did we pick it? No, we didn't.
Oh, no, I'm picking Luis to get an upset because of the Chiefs-Bears matchup.
I call that. I'm going to say that too.
I'm picking Luis also. This isn't an upset pick anymore.
Sorry, Brant.
Damn, Brant.
Well, Brant's got to start
put
getting
up 100 points,
man.
and I'll get back on your side. Even I put up 100 points, and my team has one leg.
I mean, yeah. But
you had Brandon Ayuk that 1 week, though.
Brandon Ayuk and Breece Hall.
Yeah.
So,
put my man in position to make plays.
There you have it, folks. Your week 2 recap in the books. What a week it was. A lot of unfortunate injuries.
We did 2 hours again.
Well, that's what we do. So people listen, they like it. So it is what it is. Yes, they do.
They don't listen.
All the time.
I'm getting subscribers. Listen. Shout out to someone I know in town who subscribed just to hear the sultry sounds of Mr. Wilson's voice.
Hey.
Someone came into my bar and told me that there's this man at this other bar talking, and he could just read them the days of the week on a calendar, and they would fall asleep in a loving embrace. And I said, well, it's interesting you say that because for the click of a subscribe and like button, you can get this man's voice for about 2 hours every week, baby.
And not only can you get it
right now.
That's right. Shout out to that person out there that will remain nameless.
We got a catalog, folks. They can go back and they can get a lot.
It doesn't matter what
butter soft Mr. Wilson voice.
It doesn't matter what you're listening for. We got it.
They're not here for the face. They're here for the voice.
You do got a good voice, sir. I heard you sing it. You got a good one.
Thank you.
It's
all the shit I smoke.
Hey, man. Whatever you got to do, sir.
Sexy. You know what? That's what it is.
What's her face? Whitney Houston smoked a pack a day for years. She sounded awesome.
And she's dead now.
Yeah. So, hey, it worked for her, okay? She got out of a good time.
Right? She got out of a great time.
We did it. We did it.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap it up. I'm going to go play some Madden.
Played too much Madden today. I got to get out of here.